held in Detroit. Not sure which day. I'll let you know that next week. Hopefully it hasn't already passed. And I'm not sure who it's against. I'll know that for you next week if it hasn't already happened. Well, and especially if it's already happened. Well, either way, I'll know it for you. But that game's going to be in Detroit, and apparently, like, if it doesn't sell out, then the schools, like they keep track of how many tickets, each school sells and, brings to the venue or whatever, and that stuff's all recorded and goes into the big NCAA, file cabinet of, conspiracy theories and dollar signs and stuff. But then they have to reimburse for like numbers if they don't meet certain standards and stuff. So like if you're a Gopher fan, or if you're in the Detroit area at the time of that game, or if you're in the area of any of these crappy no one cares about bowl games, and you either like the teams or you support college football, go to these games and help these schools out, because when no one shows up and no one cares, like, they end up having to foot the bill. The sponsors don't foot the bill. The NCAA doesn't foot the bill. The universities actually have to foot the bill for all these crappy, pointless bowl games that shouldn't even exist. But the NCAA exploits the sponsors and the bowl format and the universities to make money for themselves. So there's that. And then there's the top four recap of last week's couple conference championships real quick. But let's save that for the finale before Ball's Deep Thought of the day. So our final two main quickie topics would be WWE and UFC. Let's do WWE first. We got TLC pay-per-view coming up this Sunday. It's a snoozer. We got Sheamus against Roman Reigns for the title. I very much expect Sheamus to hang on to it yet, winning via shenanigans. He's got this whole League of Nations faction going for him now, where he's got Rusev and King Barrett, and who's the other guy? Some other foreign guy. I don't know who's foreign and a bad guy. Well, most of the foreign guys are bad guys. Rusev, King Barrett, Sheamus, and some other foreign bad guy. What the heck? Why can't I think of it? Whatever. Anyway, obviously it's not that memorable. But, so title picture should stay fairly lame. The main good match should be the Intercontinental title match between Dean Ambrose and Kevin Owens. Those two guys should put on a hell of a show. Definitely the match of the night on paper, I would expect. Nothing else is even really worth noting. There's all this weird interweaving faction rivalries going on where you don't even know who's feuding with who anymore. Don't even really know what's going on with New Day. Just so long as they're out there, we're all enjoying it because they're the best thing in WWE by far right now. I wouldn't look for any surprise returns at TLC, as no one's going to want to come back before Christmas vacation starts. Everyone's going to come back via surprise after the Christmas break. Before, right, the last week of December, first week of January, more likely, leading up to and including at Royal Rumble. FYI, if you are a WWE fan, which I am, and you live anywhere near the Minneapolis area, which I do, just a friendly reminder that Monday Night Raw will be there on Monday, December, I want to say it's 22nd. It is the Monday of Christmas week before Christmas. And that will actually, that's a bad time throwaway Raw. However, the cool element of it, where it would be kind of fun to buy a ticket and go, if you've never been, or if you've been a ton of times like I have, even though at the moment I don't plan on going, is that it is the Slammy Awards for the year. So a unique opportunity, a show that is an annual, yearly highlight show, that you don't always, as a fan, have the opportunity to go see. You'll always have an opportunity to go see a Raw or a SmackDown, anytime you want any year, or a live untelevised house show. But these special themed ones or pay-per-views, you don't always have the opportunity depending on where you live. Um, so wanted to throw that out there. I'm sure there's still plenty of tickets available. Just about any seat's a good seat at something like that, at least in my experience there. And yeah, it's whatever. I'll watch the whole thing. I'll tune in. I don't really expect much, but some table, ladder, and chair themed violence that might be fun, and a good match with KO and versus Dean for the IC, which I see KO keeping, just because I think they need Dean somehow involved as that in a main event role. Like I don't think with WrestleMania coming up that they've got enough big healthy guys in that title picture, to throw Dean away on the mid card with the Intercontinental title. So I see Dean not winning the IC, but if Creative wins out that wants Dean out of the main event picture, going from on the road to WrestleMania now, which will officially start, kind of after the TLC pay-per-view in one way. It could go either way. Should be a great match, and it's a coin flip. But that's about it. And Raw still sucks every week. So boom, there's your WWE news. All right, now let's get to the UFC 194 match card. Squeeze in our college football and get our balls deep thought of the day. All right, well, as promised, here it is, your UFC 194 preview. Now, the big main event of the fight for this Saturday, December 12th, is Jose Aldo, current featherweight champ at 145. I'm pretty darn sure at least he's the current champ. Maybe it's Conor. But I'm pretty sure it's Jose Aldo, current featherweight champ, 145 pounds. This match was supposed to happen at UFC 192, but Aldo couldn't fight. McGregor had a different opponent in his place, which he won fairly convincingly. But Conor McGregor is kind of the polarizing bad boy of UFC. Jose Aldo is 25-1 in his professional career, fighting out of Brazil. I told you they're both at 145 pounds. Conor McGregor is 2 inches taller than Jose Aldo. Conor McGregor's professional record is 18-1 fighting out of Ireland, as you could imagine. Conor is definitely, statistically, like, when it comes to offense, Conor is, he's off the charts here. He's more of a striker. This is a really contrasting style fight, both in striking and in grappling. McGregor excels, but Jose Aldo is a defensive machine. He defends against takedowns insanely well. He defends against strikes extremely well. So you've got your classic great offense versus great defense matchup. And I think if that great defense that Aldo is known for is shown, and Conor's strikes aren't superior to that in any way, then Aldo will be able to work in some offense and win the fight via decision. But I don't see Aldo winning this fight any other way than it going all 5 rounds and he wins it via decision. Maybe he could slap a submission on him, catch him with something, or you can always catch one guy with one punch or one kick with a knockout. But I'd say if Aldo wins, it's a 90% chance it's via decision. Whereas Conor McGregor, if he wins, I would expect him to win via knockout at some point, or maybe submission. I doubt it, but I think he'd be more get him to the ground and do some ground and pound. I don't think McGregor excels really a whole lot in the art of submission grappling. So, like I said, I think a smart man's money is on Aldo. That being said, I think you'd really have to scout McGregor's offense, and if it's that unstoppable and overwhelming, then it's not going to matter. McGregor's going to come out victorious. But yeah, my official pick on the main event is Jose Aldo retains his title via decision. Fight goes the distance. Again, my backup pick then would be McGregor wins via knockout, somewhere between rounds 3 and 5. Other fights on the card, this is a fairly intriguing one. We got Chris Weidman versus Luke Rockhold. They're fighting at 185 pounds. Weidman has been a beast, 13-0 since he came on. Rockhold 14-2. I don't think Rockhold has what it takes to be the guy to hand Weidman his first loss. Weidman's strike defense is out of this world, and his takedown defense is out of this world. Offense is similar striking wise between Weidman and Rockhold. Grappling offense is way better for Weidman, and all defense is better for Weidman. So you got to think Weidman wins that one fairly easy. That'd be your safe money. We've also got Jacare Souza fighting out of Brazil at 185, same weight class, 22-3 record, with a 1-inch height advantage on Yoel Romero fighting out of Cuba. Romero definitely likes to strike on his feet, also plays good defense on his feet. Souza much more of a grappler. However, Romero defends the takedowns fairly well. I'm kind of looking Romero there, in all honesty. But Souza could win that too. Souza's 22-3, Romero's 10-1. So that's on paper. Romero's got more skill, is the better fighter. But a fight can go anywhere. You never know. And Souza has more experience. So again, if Souza wins, I think it's going to be catching Romero in a mistake. It's going to be an experience-based mental victory, that he gets him on. That's my prediction, at least. Then we got Damian Maia versus Gunnar Nelson in the 170 weight class. Maia fighting out of Brazil, Nelson out of Iceland. Maia with a 2-inch height advantage. Nelson has a 14-1-1 career record. Maia has a 21-6 career record. Defense, striking about the same. Striking offense, give the edge to Gunnar Nelson. Grappling offense, you got to give the edge to Maia, as well as takedown defense. Defensively, Maia wins out on both. Striking goes to Nelson. Offense goes to Nelson. Grappling offense goes to Maia. Maia wins that out on paper. So we're going Maia. Then hold on, one more fight to get to. We got Max Hollowell, and this is in the featherweight class at the 145 weight, like we mentioned earlier. Max Hollowell, 14-3 with a 3-inch height advantage out of the USA, fighting against Jeremy Stephens, 24-11 out of the USA. Stephens, obviously a journeyman fighter. Hollowell, an up-and-coming, guy that's trying to make a name for himself. Hollowell wins fights on his feet. Great striking offense, great striking defense. When it comes to grappling, Stephens has the advantage with the offense. Holloway has the advantage with the defense. Winner, Holloway via knockout, somewhere in between round 1 and 3. Then, in one of the big other undercard matches of the night, we've got Uriah Faber versus Frankie Sands. They fight at 135 pounds, both out of the USA, both 66 inches tall. Faber is 32-8. Sands is 11-2. Sands is a furious striker on his feet and has good striking defense. When it comes to grappling, Sands also has better grappling offense and better grappling defense. Sands should crush Faber in this fight. In the female fight on the card, we got Tisha Torres versus Jocelyn Jones-Lyberg. Lybarger is a newbie. Torres is 6-0. They fight at 115 pounds. And look for Torres to mop the floor with the newcomer, or look for, the other 5% chance would be for Lybarger to actually come in and make a huge name for herself in her debut. Then in the battle of the undefeateds in the 170 weight class, fighting out of Brazil, we got Warley Alves. He is 10-0, same height as 71-inch Colby Covington, fighting out of the USA with an 8-0 record. Alvarez wins the striking offense slightly. and his striking defense is exceptional. Grappling